All right, Tuesday the 20th, we have full body, 5, 6, or 7 rounds, and we have a part 2 of renegade rows. So we have bent over wide grip rows, sumo squat with high pull, dumbbell pull throughs, and leg lifts. And then part 2 is renegade rows for reps. So bent over wide grip. So what that means is normally we do a bent over row here. This time we're gonna put it out here. So that's what that means when I say wide grip, okay? Sumo squat with high pull. You could, well, it doesn't matter. You can use 1 or you can use 2. You just want to make sure, like these are only 10 pounds, but having them side by side is pretty wide. So you could always just try to hold 1 in the middle. You could do it that way, or a kettlebell, or just smaller weights that aren't as bulky. Dumbbell pull through. So this is just pulling all the way down to your legs. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what it is. We're doing, that's why it's really tricky when I make up my own names for things, because I think what I just did was like an extended pull through, dumbbell pull through. So that is when you're in your high plank position and you pull the dumbbell across. So you'd be in high plank and you're gonna grab the dumbbell, drag it to one side. Grab, drag. I should probably like add more detail in the name. And leg lifts. Maybe I should put plank, dumbbell pull through next time. Okay, and leg lifts. Okay, bent over wide grip. So what I was saying was we normally do our bent over rows and they look like this. It's when you pull your shoulder blades, you're in that bent over positioning. So this time what we're doing is we're gonna open our grip. So we're gonna put, well, you can do it either way really, but so you can either have your palms out or in, but you're gonna have your hands out here, okay? Out to the side. Pull out to the side, okay? Or you could do it this way. It's like an inverted row. It doesn't really matter. But so it's just like that. So instead of close to your side, it's open and pull outward, okay? It's pretty simple. Sumo squat with high pull. So what I was trying to explain was for the high pull, because you have to be like this, when you're squatting and you're trying to drop the weights between your legs, it gets kind of tight. And like I said, these are only 10 pounds. So anything bigger is only going to be even harder. So you might want to either just use 1 dumbbell and just try to get your grip on it however you can. Probably both hands aren't going to fit perfectly in there, or you can just use a lighter set of dumbbells that aren't as big, like these fit much better, or you could use a kettlebell. So what you're doing is sumo squat. So that's wide stance, feet turned out, and again, the weight's gonna have to go in the middle. So you're gonna sumo squat down, and when you rise up, you're gonna high pull. Down, squat, high pull, squat, high pull, squat, high pull. So you wanna make sure that when you come down, that you don't go like this and like punch down and lean down. It should just be just like this. And when you high pull, you're coming from here, whoops, up to your chest, or right above your chest, right above your chest, right above your chest, okay? So it's just combining those 2 moves together. Dumbbell pull through is not what I showed you before. It's in high plank position. So you're gonna be in high plank. The weight is gonna start off on one side, and you're just going to pull it and drag it to the other side. Drag, drag. So this is 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna go up to 24, okay? If you need to, you can drop down to your knees and do the same thing. Drag, drag. When you do these, you want to make sure that you have a little bit wider stance than normal with your feet, because not only are you going on one hand, but you're pulling, so you want to make sure that you have a really sturdy base. So if you're normally like this in your high plank, you might want to open it up to here, okay, just to get more stability. And lastly for our rounds is leg lifts. So when I was talking about previously with one of our exercises about your lower back being against the floor when you do ab exercises, this is one of them that I find really difficult to do that. So what I usually do is I usually put my hands under like my butt and my back. That's kind of more on my butt, so that it lifts that as well. Because normally what happens is if your butt's on the ground, your lower back's on the ground, and you start doing the exercise, what's gonna happen is that lower back's gonna pop off the floor and you can fit your hand under. You wanna suck it down so your hand doesn't fit. But when you're doing leg lowers, it's a lot of core strength to keep your back on the ground when your legs lower. So you're here and you lower. So right when you get to about here and lower, it's really difficult to keep that back from popping off the ground, okay? So if you can do it, go ahead, and you're just probably not gonna go as low. If you cannot keep your lower back on the ground, pop up, put your hands kind of halfway under your butt, and then you can go much lower, because now you're not trying to keep your back on the ground because your butt is also not fully on the ground, okay? So I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid it going like this: butt, lower back, mid back, okay? You don't want to have that hump in the middle. So either do it where you can keep your lower back on the ground, or if you can't, you're gonna be like this, because then your butt is gonna be off the ground, your lower back's gonna be off the ground, and then your mid back is on the ground, okay? So that is better alignment than having straight hump straight, okay? I still don't know if that makes sense, but that's what we're trying to do here. So either way, just pick one of those, okay? Or whatever one you can do, whatever one feels okay. Like when I do the one where I'm trying to keep my back on the ground, like I said, it is almost painful because it takes a lot of strength. It takes strength of your lower back and your core, the front, to keep your back sucked to the floor. So if it's like too painful, or you just can't do it, then just put your hands underneath. And of course, when you do your leg lowers, you don't want your feet to hit the ground. Part 2 is renegade rows, 50 to 100 reps total. So if you don't know what a renegade row is, oh, I forgot to show it in the example, sorry. I was too confused by the dumbbell pull through. So with your renegade row, you are gonna do, when we just did our wide grip rows and I talked about our regular rows, so it's gonna be like a regular one-arm row in a high plank position. Now, if you have dumbbells that have the hex, so they have flat sides, then you can hold them the entire time you're doing this. If they are like mine, or they are totally round, you're not gonna wanna hold on to them. So what it would look like, which I can do it with these because it's not that bad, but they will roll, is you're gonna be on the weights in high plank position, wide in your stance, and you're going to row down. 2, 3, 4, 5. So because all of your weight is on the dumbbells, if they're round or they're kind of like mine where it's kind of got sides, but then there's like small sides that almost make it round, it eventually is going to start to roll. So your other option is to put your hands on the outside of the weights and just lift as you go, down, lift, down, lift, down, lift, down. Okay, that is better for somebody who doesn't have the right weights, or to help make your balance easier, you would just put your hands to the side. So this is what it looks like from the side. So my feet are gonna get cut off, but I'm in high plank position, which means I'm up on my toes like that. Widen my stance, row, down, pick up, row, down, pick up, row, down, pick up, row, okay? So notice that my body is not moving too much. I'm always trying to stay Still keep my spine neutral and only move what is supposed to be moving, okay? If that is too difficult, you can do it kneeling. Row, 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 row. So just make sure that you're pulling that weight back to kind of your hip, lower chest area, and you're gonna do that for reps. So of course you can take a break in between. You just need to get whatever the number is done, okay? So that's your Tuesday.